Have you ever noticed that the less you care, the more power you have? Sounds counterintuitive, right? In a world where we're told to care about everything, work, relationships, status, it seems almost impossible to imagine that indifference could actually make you stronger. But here's the kicker: caring too much can in fact weaken you. Think about it for a second. When you pour your energy into every single thing, every little worry, and every external opinion, where does that leave you? Exhausted, stressed, and quite frankly, at the mercy of whatever life throws at you. Whether it's the fear of missing out, obsessing over what people think, or constantly chasing approval, this relentless attachment to things beyond your control steals your power. You become reactive, you become vulnerable, and worst of all, you become easily manipulated. But here's where Stoicism comes in. Stoics, those ancient philosophers, understood the real power lies not in caring less about everything, but in detaching from things you can't control. It's not about being cold or heartless, but about being intentional with your energy. It's about reclaiming your autonomy by not letting external factors dictate your emotions, actions, or sense of self-worth. So, how can we use this Stoic approach of detachment to become stronger, more in control, and, ironically, more empowered? Well, it's simple. We begin by acknowledging that while we can't control everything around us, we can always control how we respond. This shift in mindset creates an inner peace and strength that no external event can disturb. Before we get into the powerful lessons that Stoicism offers, I want to invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and hit that notification bell so you never miss content that helps you take control of your life. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Now let's get into it, because understanding how detachment can make you more powerful is going to change the way you look at life forever. So have you ever felt controlled by caring too much? Drop a comment below. Let's start a conversation about it. Why caring less could actually make you more powerful. Indifference isn't about being cold. It's about choosing what deserves your emotions. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But think about it. Every day, we waste so much energy on things that don't truly deserve our attention. From trivial arguments to the constant need to impress others, we are constantly giving away our emotional power, often without realizing it. And what does that do to us? It weakens us, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. We spend our lives worrying about things outside our control. But why? Why do we waste precious time and energy on things that have no real impact on our lives or our well-being? Most of the time, it's because we've been conditioned to care about everything: the small annoyances, the opinions of others, the latest gossip. And let's not forget the constant pressure to compare ourselves to everyone around us. The truth is, most of the things we stress over don't even matter. How much energy have you spent worrying about something that, in the end, didn't even affect your life? How often have you stayed up late stressing about a situation that you couldn't change? If you're like most people, the answer is probably way too often. And yet, that energy could have been spent on something much more important, something that truly adds value to your life. So, why do we fall into this trap? Why do we keep giving our energy away to things that don't matter? The answer lies in our emotional attachment to those things. When we care too much about things we can't control, we become emotionally invested in every little thing that happens to us. This emotional investment drains us, leaving us feeling exhausted, anxious, and powerless. But when we learn to detach from those things, when we choose not to care about the things that don't serve us, we regain that power. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. The Stoics understood that in order to live a truly fulfilling life, we must learn the art of detachment. Stoic detachment isn't about ignoring your emotions or becoming numb to the world around you. It's about recognizing that you cannot control everything. You can't control how other people behave, what happens in the world, or even the events that occur in your own life. But what you can control is your response. You can choose how much energy you give to something. You can decide whether it's worth your time and emotions. By practicing Stoic detachment, we take back control of our emotional energy. Instead of reacting to everything that happens, we respond with intention and purpose. This doesn't mean we stop caring altogether. It simply means we choose where to direct our care. We focus on what we can control, our actions, our thoughts, and our mindset, while letting go of everything else. And in doing so, we become mentally and emotionally stronger. This sense of control is incredibly powerful. It frees us from the constant cycle of worry, fear, and frustration that so many people live in. When we stop letting every little thing get under our skin, we become less susceptible to stress and anxiety. We become more resilient, more peaceful, and more powerful. So the next time you find yourself stressing over something that's outside your control, remember this: you have the power to choose. You don't have to invest your emotional energy in things that don't serve you. By embracing Stoic detachment, you're not becoming cold or indifferent. You're simply choosing to preserve your energy for what truly matters. Have you ever wasted time caring about something only to realize later that it was pointless? Let me know in the comments. Why caring too much can actually make you weaker. Think about it. When was the last time worrying actually solved anything? When we invest too much energy into something, we end up draining ourselves emotionally. Whether it's obsessing over what someone thinks of us, stressing over an upcoming event, or trying to control every little aspect of our lives, we often find ourselves worn out with nothing to show for it. Over-attachment or caring too much steals your energy. It's like trying to hold on to 100 different things at once. Your emotional resources become spread so thin that you end up feeling mentally exhausted. You can't focus. You can't think clearly. And worst of all, your strength is diminished. Here's the thing. People who care too much are easy targets for manipulation. Think about someone you know who's always bending over backwards to please others, never saying no, always doing what others expect of them. In these situations, it's often the ones who care the most who get taken advantage of the most. Whether it's an unreasonable boss, a needy friend, or a toxic partner, people who overinvest emotionally often find themselves manipulated because they're afraid of losing the approval of others. The problem is that over-attachment doesn't just affect your emotions, it clouds your judgment. When you care too much about something, you start overthinking. And when you overthink, your mind gets trapped in endless loops of doubt and worry. The more you try to control a situation, the more you lose control of your own peace of mind. Overthinking is a real problem. And science backs this up. Studies have shown that overthinking impairs our ability to make good decisions. We get so caught up in the small details, second-guessing every choice, that we miss the bigger picture. This constant mental noise leads to poor decision-making, stress, and anxiety. So what can we learn from this? Well, let's take a moment to look at one of the greatest Stoic leaders, Marcus Aurelius. He was the Roman emperor, known for his wisdom, inner calm, and Stoic mindset. Yet, he faced immense pressure every day. From military battles to political strife, Marcus could have easily been overwhelmed, but his strength came from his ability to detach from emotional overreaction. Instead of worrying about every detail, he focused on controlling what he could, his own thoughts and responses. His writings, compiled in meditations, are a testament to his ability to distance himself from what he couldn't control, choosing to focus only on what truly mattered. Imagine this. Someone insults you. Your first instinct? To react, to feel hurt, maybe even angry. But what if you didn't? What if instead you took a step back, evaluated the situation logically, and realized that their words didn't have the power to hurt you unless you let them? Marcus Aurelius himself faced many personal attacks and challenges, but he learned to detach from them. He knew that reacting emotionally to every insult would only weaken his mind. By remaining calm, he could think clearly and move forward with strength. Now let's consider a modern example. Have you ever seen someone who overthinks every situation to the point of paralysis? Maybe you've even experienced it yourself. Overthinking drains you. It clouds your judgment and causes you to waste precious time on things that don't matter. When we care too much, we're so consumed by these thoughts that we end up making worse decisions, or sometimes no decision at all. Think about the next time you're in a stressful situation. Instead of caring too much about what's out of your control, try detaching, taking a step back. Breathe. Evaluate the situation for what it is. By doing this, you regain control over your emotions and actions, leading to a much clearer and stronger response. Caring too much makes you weak because it drains your mental and emotional strength, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation and poor decision-making. In contrast, by learning to detach and control what you can, you empower yourself just like Marcus Aurelius did. And the best part? You can do the same today. Has caring too much ever backfired on you? Share your experience below. How to master emotional detachment and why it makes you stronger. Detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about choosing your battles wisely. In a world that constantly demands your emotional investment, the Stoics taught a radical approach: control what you can, ignore what you can't. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. When you learn to detach from the things outside your control, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and emotional drain. You stop wasting energy on things that ultimately don't matter, and you begin to focus on what truly does. The Stoics weren't emotionless robots. They didn't suggest we suppress our feelings. Instead, they understood that emotions are natural, but we have the power to decide how much power we give them. Think about it this way. Emotions are like waves. They come and go, but you have the choice to either ride the wave or let it crash over you. The key to Stoic emotional control lies in understanding that we cannot control everything around us. We can't control other people's actions, the outcomes of certain events, or even what's happening in the world, but we can control our reactions. This principle is at the core of Stoic philosophy. When we accept that, we realize we don't need to invest emotionally in things beyond our reach. Instead, we learn to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. This is the true essence of Stoic detachment. A powerful way to think about this is through the Stoic mantra: control what you can, ignore what you can't. This simple statement can be a game changer in how we approach life. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about every little thing, but when we remember that we can't control everything, we free ourselves from the emotional burden of trying. Instead, we conserve our emotional energy for the things that matter, the things within our control. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, was an expert in the art of emotional detachment. He recognized that emotions often arise from our expectations and attachments, and he believed that by practicing detachment, we could avoid unnecessary suffering. Seneca once said, "If you want to be loved, love." What he meant by this is that love, like any other emotion, should be given freely, without attachment or expectation. When you give love or care with the expectation of receiving something in return, you become emotionally tied to the outcome. And when the outcome doesn't meet your expectations, you suffer. But when you give without attachment, you're free from that emotional burden. Seneca's teachings on detachment encourage us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and responses. He understood that when we free ourselves from the need for approval or validation from others, we are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. In this way, emotional detachment isn't about being indifferent or unfeeling. It's about maintaining control over your emotions so they don't control you. If you want to put this idea into practice, here's a simple exercise. The 10-second rule. The next time you feel your emotions rising, whether it's anger, frustration, or anxiety, pause for 10 seconds. Take a deep breath. In that moment, you have a choice. You can either react immediately or you can choose to detach, to pause, and to evaluate the situation with a calm mind. The 10-second rule is a quick reset that helps you regain control over your emotions before they take over. By practicing this, you train yourself to respond with intention rather than reacting impulsively. It's not always easy. Emotions are powerful and they can feel overwhelming. But with practice, you can train yourself to detach. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to choose how to respond to the world around you. Over time, you'll find that your emotional strength grows and your ability to handle life's challenges becomes more resilient. In the next section, we'll explore how emotional detachment can actually increase your inner strength, making you more powerful in situations where others might break down. But first, remember this: detachment isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about maintaining control over your emotions so they don't control you. Have you ever tried detaching from something toxic? How did it feel? Let's talk in the comments. What's the difference between indifference and coldness? A lot of people think being indifferent means being cold-hearted, but that's not true at all. In fact, many times when people say you're indifferent, they're actually mistaking emotional control for emotional neglect. The difference between detachment and apathy is subtle, but it's a crucial distinction, especially when it comes to Stoic philosophy. So let's clear this up right now. Detachment is not the same as indifference. Being detached means choosing to not let external events or other people's emotions control you. It's about making sure your emotional energy is spent wisely on what matters, what you can control, and what truly aligns with your values. Indifference, on the other hand, suggests that you don't care at all, or that you're emotionally distant and unfeeling. It's a passive approach, an absence of concern for anything, and that's where the misunderstanding happens. Stoicism promotes controlled detachment, not ignorance. It's not about shutting down your emotions. It's about protecting your energy. Think of it this way. When you're constantly reacting to everything, whether it's other people's opinions, minor annoyances, or things beyond your control, you're wasting energy. But if you choose to detach from those things and remain in control of your emotions, you conserve that energy. You're not emotionally cut off, but rather you're making intentional decisions about where to direct your emotions. Take Epictetus, for example. He was a Stoic philosopher who lived a difficult life. Born a slave, he later became one of the most respected teachers in ancient Rome. Yet, Epictetus taught that the key to peace was emotional control, not emotional suppression. He believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. And that, my friends, is the essence of Stoic detachment. In his teachings, Epictetus repeatedly emphasized the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet powerful insight captures the core of Stoic philosophy: to detach from things that don't serve you and protect your energy for what truly matters. It's not about being cold or apathetic, it's about being deliberate with your emotions. Have you ever been accused of not caring just because you refuse to overreact? I think we've all been there. When you choose to respond calmly or stay collected, people sometimes mistake that for a lack of emotion, or worse, for coldness. But what they don't realize is that by staying emotionally detached, you're actually protecting your peace and your well-being. You're not disengaging from life. You're engaging in a more thoughtful, intentional way. Stoicism isn't about shutting down. It's about protecting your energy. It's about focusing on what's truly important and not getting caught up in the whirlwind of unnecessary drama, emotional chaos, or external noise. When you master emotional detachment, you're not walking through life with a stone-cold heart. Instead, you're walking through life with a clearer mind and a stronger sense of self. You're choosing what to care about rather than letting life choose for you. To be clear, emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling or caring about the things that matter. It simply means you're not consumed by things outside your control. It means that when life throws challenges your way, you don't get swept up in an emotional storm. You stay grounded. You respond with intention. You let go of what doesn't serve you and conserve your energy for the things that truly matter. In the next section, we'll explore how practicing emotional detachment can help you face life's challenges with resilience, allowing you to stay calm and collected in situations where others might panic. But for now, think about this. Emotional detachment is about choosing where to direct your energy. It's not about being cold or uncaring. It's about protecting your peace. Do you think people misunderstand indifference? Drop your thoughts. Below, why not reacting makes you more powerful. The moment you stop reacting, you become the one in control. This may sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that encourages emotional reactions to every little thing. But the truth is, the less you react, the more powerful you become. And here's why. When you stop reacting emotionally to every situation, you create an aura of control and composure. People can't predict how you'll respond, and in a world where everyone is reactive, that unpredictability gives you an edge. Indifference isn't about being passive or indifferent to the world around you. It's about choosing not to let every external event dictate your emotional state. It's about mastering your emotions and choosing when and how to respond. When you stop reacting impulsively, you position yourself as someone who is in control of their mind, body, and energy. That control is powerful. It makes you unpredictable in the best possible way. Think about it. The less you react, the stronger you seem. When everyone around you is losing their cool, getting upset, or acting impulsively, you stand out. You become the calm in the storm. And in times of uncertainty, people naturally look to those who remain steady, who don't get swept away by emotions. Your ability to maintain composure in difficult situations will earn you respect. It will also earn you influence. Here's the paradox. By caring less, you actually earn more respect. This might sound a little strange, but think about it. When you don't let the small things bother you, when you're not constantly reacting to every situation, people notice. They respect your emotional strength, and in many cases, they even trust you more because they can rely on your steady presence. People respect calmness, people trust calmness, and people follow calmness. Take a look at someone like Warren Buffett. The legendary investor has always been known for his calm, collected demeanor, even in times of financial crisis. During the 2008 market crash, while many investors were panicking, Buffett remained calm and made decisions with a clear head. He didn't react to the panic around him. He didn't let fear or greed drive his actions. Instead, he stayed focused on his long-term goals, sticking to his principles. That calmness, that ability to detach emotionally from the situation, gave him the space to make better, more informed decisions. And it earned him the respect of others. This stoic-like detachment, where you don't let external circumstances dictate your mood or actions, is one of the keys to his success. Warren Buffett is a prime example of how indifference, when practiced properly, can give you a psychological advantage. By not overreacting, he remains an outlier in the world of emotional highs and lows. And that's exactly what makes him so powerful. So how can you cultivate this mental strength and emotional resilience? Here's a simple exercise to help you build your emotional fortitude: the pause and reflect exercise. When you feel a strong emotional reaction coming on, whether it's frustration, anger, anxiety, or excitement, take a moment to pause. Don't respond immediately. Instead, take a deep breath, step back, and give yourself a few seconds to evaluate the situation. Ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? What's the best way to respond here, if at all? This brief pause allows you to regain control over your emotions and your reaction. By doing this consistently, you train yourself to stay calm, to detach from impulsive reactions, and to respond thoughtfully. It's a small shift, but over time, it can have a profound impact on how you approach difficult situations and how people perceive you. The psychological advantage of indifference lies in your ability to remain steady, to not be swayed by the ups and downs of life. It's about mastering yourself. And the more you practice this, the more others will begin to respect and follow you. In the next section, we'll explore how to apply this power of detachment in your everyday life, so you can begin to see the benefits in your relationships, your work, and your personal growth. Have you ever noticed how powerful people rarely overreact? Let's talk in the comments. How to practice Stoic indifference every day. So how do you actually train yourself to be indifferent? How do you build this power? It's one thing to understand the concept of emotional detachment, but it's a whole other thing to integrate it into your daily life. Stoicism is all about practicing what you preach, and the good news is that developing indifference is something you can practice every single day. Let's break it down into 4 practical steps that will help you develop emotional resilience and become more stoic in your approach to life. Step 1. Stop giving weight to other people's opinions. One of the most powerful techniques Marcus Aurelius used to develop emotional detachment was to stop overvaluing the opinions of others. Think about how often you let what others think dictate your actions, your emotions, or your self-worth. We live in a world where social approval is a huge part of our lives, whether it's likes on a post, approval from colleagues, or the validation of friends and family. But here's the Stoic insight. Other people's opinions don't define you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that people are often wrapped up in their own thoughts, flaws, and concerns. They're not paying as much attention to you as you think. In his meditations, Marcus wrote, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you stop overvaluing other people's opinions, you detach yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with seeking approval. You shift your focus from what others think of you to how you think of yourself. Try this today. The next time someone annoys you or gives you unsolicited advice, simply do nothing. Don't react. Don't internalize. Just observe. Step 2. Master the let them theory. This is about letting people do what they want without reacting. Think about how often we get caught up in the actions of others, whether it's a friend being rude, a colleague being unreasonable, or someone cutting in front of you in line. It's easy to get emotionally triggered, but here's the Stoic approach. Let them. People will behave the way they choose, and you can't control that. What you can control is how you respond. When you choose not to react to others' behavior, you not only protect your energy, but you also make a clear statement to yourself. I am in control of my emotions, and no one else's actions will dictate how I feel. By practicing the let them theory, you stop wasting time and energy on things that you can't change. It's liberating. Step 3. Use negative visualization to detach from outcomes. Negative visualization is a powerful Stoic practice that involves imagining the worst-case scenario in order to appreciate what you have and detach from the need for a specific outcome. It's a way of reminding yourself that whatever happens, happens, and you can handle it. The next time you're feeling anxious about a situation, whether it's a job interview, an important presentation, or a personal conversation, take a moment to mentally imagine the worst-case outcome. What's the worst thing that could happen? What if you fail? What if it doesn't go according to plan? Now, visualize yourself handling it. See yourself accepting the situation without drama or emotional distress. By doing this, you reduce the pressure you place on the outcome, and you realize that no matter what happens, you will be okay. This detachment from outcomes allows you to engage fully without being consumed by fear of failure. Step 4. Learn when to walk away and never look back. One of the hardest but most empowering Stoic practices is knowing when to walk away from situations, people, or environments that drain your energy. This could be a toxic relationship, a negative work environment, or a situation where you realize you're giving more than you're receiving. Stoicism teaches us that we don't need to stay attached to things that no longer serve us. When you learn when to walk away, you're choosing yourself over everything else. And when you walk away with your head held high, without second guessing, you are practicing emotional independence. This doesn't mean you give up on everything. At the first sign of difficulty, it means you make intentional decisions to protect your well-being. And once you walk away, never look back. Don't let guilt, nostalgia, or fear of missing out pull you back into a situation that's no longer right for you. By practicing these 4 steps, stopping overvaluing others' opinions, mastering the let them theory, using negative visualization, and learning when to walk away, you'll start to build emotional resilience and stoic indifference in your daily life. It's not about becoming cold or detached from everything around you. It's about being intentional with where you invest your emotions, time, and energy. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how you can apply this emotional detachment in your relationships and interactions with others, so you can strengthen your personal connections without losing yourself in the process. Which of these steps do you think is the hardest? Let's discuss in the comments why caring less makes people respect you more, want more respect. Start caring less. It might sound counterintuitive, but one of the quickest ways to earn respect and power in any situation is by not desperately seeking approval from others. The truth is, people admire those who stand firm in their beliefs, who don't sway with every opinion, and who maintain their composure no matter the circumstances. When you stop seeking validation, you position yourself as someone who is in control of their life, someone who is confident, secure, and self-reliant. Why is this so powerful? Because we, as humans, are naturally drawn to those who are unaffected by external forces. When someone isn't constantly chasing after others' approval, it signals strength and self-assurance. People can feel the difference when you're trying to impress them versus when you simply don't care about their opinion. And the moment they sense you're not dependent on their validation, they begin to respect you more. The same concept applies to social and romantic relationships. Indifference, when practiced correctly, makes you more attractive. In a world where everyone is eager to please or conform, standing apart as someone who doesn't rely on the approval of others creates an aura of mystery and intrigue. People are drawn to those who are emotionally independent, who know their worth, and who don't bend under pressure. It's an attractive quality because it signals confidence and inner strength. Think about how people treat you when they sense you're not overly eager to impress. They treat you with more respect. They become more curious about you. This is true in every aspect of life: work, social settings, even romantic relationships. When you're not chasing after external validation, others begin to see you as someone with value. Someone who doesn't need to conform or seek approval to feel worthy. That's power. And the best part, this power isn't something you have to force. It's a natural result of detachment. The power of indifference doesn't just apply to social settings, it's also key to leadership and influence. Think of someone like Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, Musk is a prime example of someone who doesn't seek approval and whose indifference to public opinion has propelled him to extraordinary success. Musk's approach to both business and life is guided by his own vision, not by the opinions of others. He famously ignores critics and stays focused on his goals, no matter the noise surrounding him. This unwavering focus and emotional detachment from public opinion have earned him both respect and influence. Musk commands respect not because he's chasing it, but because he doesn't care if he gets it or not. In a similar vein, the more detached you become from seeking approval, the more naturally people start respecting and listening to you. You don't need to prove anything. Your actions speak for themselves, and your steady, composed nature becomes the anchor that others rely on. Influence, in this sense, comes naturally when you're detached from needing others' validation. When you stop caring about how others perceive you, you gain the freedom to act authentically, which others respect even more. Respect isn't given, it's commanded. When you stop worrying about what others think of you, you stop chasing respect. Instead, respect starts to chase you. People gravitate toward those who are emotionally independent and who show that they can't be swayed by the opinions and actions of others. These individuals are seen as leaders because they have the courage to stand by their convictions no matter what. So why do people respect those who remain unbothered? Think about it. It's because those who remain unaffected by external opinions have a certain strength and power about them. They don't need to convince anyone of their worth. Their actions, their demeanor, and their confidence do all the convincing for them. In the next section, we'll take a closer look at how you can apply this power of detachment in even more practical ways, particularly when it comes to setting boundaries and protecting your energy. But before we get there, think about this. When you stop seeking approval, you give others the space to admire you, respect you, and even follow your lead. Have you ever noticed how people react when you stop caring about their opinions? Let's talk below before we wrap this up. So here's the thing. Indifference isn't about shutting off your emotions. It's about choosing what actually deserves them. Once you stop reacting to every little thing, you'll notice something amazing. Life gets easier, people respect you more, and most importantly, you gain control over yourself. Try this today. Next time someone or something tries to steal your peace, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, does this really deserve my reaction? If the answer is no, let it go. Trust me, you'll feel a new kind of power the moment you stop giving your energy away for free. This is your challenge. From now on, you control your energy. No more wasting emotions on things that don't matter. The more you practice this, the stronger you'll feel, the more respect you'll command, and the more peaceful your mind will become. If you found this video valuable, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and drop a comment below. What part of Stoic Indifference are you ready to start practicing today? Let's talk.